The fight between the SEC and Ripple seems to be coming to an end. Even though it has been a long drawn-out fight with lots of twists and turns, so far it is the SEC that has taken the most damage. In fact, Ripple will almost certainly win on points, if not a last-minute knockout. With that, Gary Genseler is preparing to go on the offensive against his next opponents of the crypto world. XRP hodlers are now more excited than ever to see what impact this title win by Ripple Labs will have on its native token. In this video, we will be looking at what this regulatory FUD means for crypto and DeFi as a whole, as well as looking into some huge developments coming for XRP. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to our channel and to turn on the notifications so you always know when a new video comes out. A disclaimer alert is now in effect. This video is for informational purposes only. We recommend that you always seek professional advice. Let's start. Number 1. Ripple on the attack. Ripple just turned up the heat recently with a sneaky counterpunch, a motion compelling the SEC to produce information about their employees' crypto holding, more precisely, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and of course XRP. The reason for this being a great move is because it is illegal for anyone in the SEC to trade securities, which makes sense, as that would be a clear case of insider trading. This means that if the SEC believes XRP to be a security, then it is a big problem for anyone on the inside to dabble or hold XRP. Well, it turns out that SEC's staff were permitted to trade XRP as late as March 9th of 2019 and possibly thereafter. Suffice it to say that the SEC refused to produce any information and even counterfiled, calling it irrelevant. Really? After that, the SEC explained that employees' trading activity is collected by an ethics council, so handing over sensitive data would be a breach of their privacy. This is incredibly suspicious, especially due to the fact that the SEC has been hounding Ripple for private information from its staff for years, so they clearly have something to hide. One thing that we believe is that the SEC would happily produce anything that could boost their chances of a last-minute victory. In the meantime, the ball is in their court, after Ripple's lawyer filed a motion compelling them to improve their answers to a series of questions. This is last round stuff, basically asking the SEC to lay out their case in writing and under oath about their application of securities law in relation to XRP. Number 2. Gary Genseler waging war against crypto. As far as this case is concerned, Genseler is walking on thin ice when it comes to XRP, but he isn't stopping and seems to have his eyes on Uniswap Labs. If this is true, however, then DeFi and governance tokens are next on his list. According to Gabriel Shapiro at Delphi Labs, DeFi projects are starting to get letters from the SEC and inquiries from other regulators. However, it is worth pointing out that an investigation means more requests for information, and by no means an accusation of any wrongdoing. At this point, the SEC's investigation is under civil law rather than criminal law, and it may or may not lead to charges. Even so, the probe coincides with a separate SEC effort to gain insight into crypto lending platforms, asking in letters for information on whether digital assets should be SEC-registered securities. Let's be honest, when there is zero clarity on the laws that you are supposed to be protecting, then it gets pretty easy to point fingers and call it foul play. Number 3. The SEC versus Coinbase. The latest company to find themselves in the line of fire is Coinbase, or more specifically is their upcoming yield platform, called Lend. Just as Coinbase was about to dip their toes into the DeFi pool, the SEC came down screaming and threatened to sue. Yet, according to Coinbase, they received no explanation as to why, or even what law they'd even be breaking. In typical SEC style, they seem keen on finger-pointing and calling things securities, but refuse to explain. In response, Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong posted on Twitter, calling out the SEC's sketchy behavior. The post covered the total lack of clarity from regulators and the obvious need for new and coherent guidelines. Brian also mentioned that despite his efforts to arrange a meeting with the SEC in December, he was told that the SEC does not meet with crypto companies. However, we are pretty skeptical about the threat from the SEC. The connections between Genseler, Coinbase, and the digital currency group seem shady to say the least. with some crypto experts even claiming that this could be a stage FUD or political theater, or even a potential warning sign for companies such as Celsius and BlockFi. In other words, we don't see this escalating anytime soon in any serious way, but it is interesting how the issue is dividing opinion online. Mark Cuban even posted on his Twitter, saying that Coinbase should go on the offensive, pointing out that this is regulation by litigation, which it is. Just like with Ripple, the SEC is kicking crypto, DeFi, and stablecoins into the courthouses and trying to get the judges to create a legal precedent. Apparently that is easier than actually doing their jobs and finding regulations. On the other side of the coin, there is another celebrity crypto genius, Jim Cramer. Unlike Mark Cuban, Jim thinks calling the SEC sketchy on Twitter was, quote, the stupidest thing he has ever seen. After all, the SEC have unlimited firepower, and if they decide to go for you, well, you are in for a fist fight. At the end of the day, this all comes down to who is the SEC protecting. Because let's face it, are they looking out for the consumer, or are they defending the banks? And let's be honest, who can blame them? DeFi lending is a threat to the traditional financial system. As Shapeshift COO put it, how dare anyone try to keep pace with inflation? It was also pretty concerning how the SEC were allegedly asking for the details of everyone on the waitlist for the Lend platform. This brings up questions, such as, is this retaliation for Ripple Labs requesting info about their employees? And who are these people supposed to be working for? Isn't it the US citizens? Nevertheless, this schoolyard stuff is certainly an indication of what the SEC might be capable of in the future. To us, it seems obvious who they are protecting here, and it is not your everyday retail investor. The good news, however, is that crypto is decentralized, and even though we don't have a lobby like banks do, we don't need one. Our community is much bigger, and together we are just as powerful, if not more. The more crypto fights, the stronger it gets. With the SEC showing their hand and proving how corrupt it is, at least we know what we are up against. Number 4. What is next for XRP? With the SEC case looking like it's coming to an end, it raises the question, what is next for XRP? With the lawsuit done, we should see some face-melting moves. In the meantime though, XRP took a decent hit last week when the IMF decided to tank Bitcoin. In fact, it suffered worse than a lot of other altcoins. This is not a headline that you want to see, unless you are buying the dip. By the time this video is being made, XRP is back in the zone of support and resistance in the charts. The XRP army knows exactly what they are investing in and why they are so bullish on the long-term potential. XRP hodlers withstood a super testing period with all the litigation, and this has only strengthened their belief. The reason being that XRP hodlers know that while the legal fight was dominating their headlines, Ripple was making serious headway behind the scenes. Even though it has been on the works since 2018, it is a major play for Ripple and XRP. Back in 2019, the word got out on the XRP forums that Australia-based Identity were partnering up with Trade Financial in order to update the MT standards ISO 20022 integration. This is a big deal in fintech and the next global standard for payments messaging. In the coming years, banks will have to migrate from legacy MT financial methods to this new standard, all taking place in the SWIFT global network. According to Identity's website, how banks manage a transition depends on the legacy system's ability to maintain data integrity as it moves between formats. They're expecting to help over 11,000 banks make the move. This is amazing, especially because Ripple's tech might be the heart of this migration. Identity has been filing patents since 2018, but it has just added a new updated version of the US patent a few weeks ago. We are not going to pretend to understand these complicated charts, but what is important is the settlement layer that could underpin it all, Ripple. Even though this might be complex stuff, you don't need to be a genius in order to see the bigger picture, namely that Ripple and XRP are being set up as the global settlement layer within the legacy system. We are talking lightning fast, frictionless, borderless payments from legacy finance. It's a big deal. So whether you are a devoted hodler of XRP or not, Ripple's lawsuit affects everyone in the crypto world, and we all want them to succeed so we can all move forward. It has been a bumpy ride, and as much as we will love to see it come to an end, as far as XRP is concerned, it is just the beginning of the ride. But what do you think? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to check out the Crypto Investing and Discussion Facebook group linked in the description below. We hope you have enjoyed this video, and if you did, smash that like button and subscribe to our channel so you are always up to date with the latest crypto news and analysis. See you guys next time. Take care.